Tat Sat. Dear devotees, my humble obeisance to you. First, I would like to thank with gratitude to BGRF for allowing me to present this such an auspicious conference on philosophy of Hinduism. Before I present, I have two preamble. There is a term on Vedas that idam no momo, meaning that whatever I present here is not my own word. Everything from our holy scriptures with citations, please follow. Second, I'm a learner. Although for last 40-50 years, attending a lot of lectures, also providing some lectures in some occasions. So any limitation of my knowledge of the insights are inadvertent. The outlines are very basic. One God or many gods, oneness of God. Are there 330 million or 33 koti gods and goddesses? Is it essential to worship gods? It means gods and goddesses. Who is the supreme divinity, Bhagavan? Now, the outlines are very basic. The many of my listeners probably has given hundreds of lectures on this philosophy and basic concepts. But the reason I put up again here is that the concepts are supported up here with good amount of reference and citations from our scriptures, such as Vedas and Upanishads, Srimad Bhagavatam, Brahma Samhita, and finally Bhagavad Gita. Very quickly, that many of you know very well that Upanishads are the philosophical explanation of Vedas. It comes at the end, that is called Vedanta. And Brahma Samhita is the gist of Upanishads, only 5 chapters. And Bhagavad Gita, according to Shankaracharya, Adi Shankara, that it is the quintessence or gist of all scriptures. So introduction. Vedic scriptures dictate that the Sanatan Dharma is anadi, without beginning, ananto, endless, and aparishya, without a human founder. We know all about. Thus, it evolved as a way of life with certain codes of ethics. Based on Vedas, principles are defined by the quest for cosmic truth. Provides its followers with an entire worldview, a way of life of spiritual freedom. That actually gives some questions about who is that, whether Hinduism are monotheistic or not, because they worship hundreds and thousands of gods. And then also there are a lot of other questions. Do we need to worship them? Is there any that amount of gods and goddesses? And who is our supreme divinity? Many lectures we heard, but that the citations has not been mentioned in that way. That is my actual reason behind this drive. So we need to understand the concept of the creation of demigods. We know that Vedas are Shruti. Actually, Shruti means that what is heard, it is not created by any human or superhuman. It is the revelation that any included verses are sacred sounds and texts that is heard by enlightened sages through intense meditation. So what I'm presenting here is that how it is, just a second. First of all, we need to understand the concept of first of all, there is a reason behind creation of demigods. First of all, there is a lot of unnatural events happening in our nature. So initially, sages thought there is a force behind every single phenomena of the universe or earth. So that's why they designed or idealized a God be every single phenomena. That's why the lots of demigods has been idealized. Later on, they thought that all these forces are interrelated. And that's why the sheer interrelationship, they thought there is a single force behind all this. So what they have idealized first, they have a question in their mind. Is the first mandala of the Rig Veda we see, there is a question, is the one behind all these demigods? And in the second mandala, the mind of sages became stable. And then they say, Brahman is one and has no second. Ekam evam advaitam, ekmevo dityatam. In the third mandala, thoughts of sages became more cohesive, and there was no doubt in their mind about the singularity of Brahman. There are 22 rigs in Sukta 55. I think you know that mandala is the chapter, Sukta is the sub-chapter, and the rig is the verses. So there are 22 rigs in Sukta 55. In this mandala, at the end of each rig, sages declared, Mat Devanang Siratam Mekam. It means the sources of power of all great deities is the same, and he is the one and almighty. Later on in third chapter, it has been Gayatri Mantra. It has been cited already in our session, saying Varannang Bharga. It means the shining light. And that has been confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10. I am the Gayatri. Next slide is showing that similar concepts has been provided in Yajurveda and Atharva Veda and also in Brahma Samhita. Because of limitation of time, I'm not going very detailed, but in Yajurveda is saying Lord is one and the same. In Atharva Veda is saying he was the only one, the source of all creation. In Brahma Samhita is saying he is the undifferentiated entity, all the universe exists in him. So we know that oneness of Brahman, and Brahman is one. Now the oneness of Brahman, that concept is come in Bhagavad Gita. So in Began Yoga, in 7th chapter, Lord Krishna declared no truth superior to me. This is a revelation, this is a proclamation. And then Rajaguja Yoga, he said again, this by me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. Then again he said, Supreme Lord as the one without a second. Similar concept in Vedas and Upanishads, and then in Brahma Samhita and also in Gita. So conclusion of the objective one, God is one for all humankind. So that is actually a paradigm shift against monopoly of God of the other faiths. So that's a philosophical stand of human, no question, no conversion, but love and devotion to one single God. So that everybody, after the purification of mind and soul, would be able to go back to Godhead, called moksha. Now I move to objective 2. Is there any 33 million or 33 gods? The answer is big no. Ekang Sandipra Bhuda Vadanti. As I explained before, that how this creation of demigods happened and came into the mind of sages, but also sages that even we know the truth is one, but still many sages said, described in different forms. And is cited in Rig Veda. Also, it is not mentioned in any scriptures about 33 Koti gods. The Koti is actually a synonym of category of type. So actual number is 33 types or categories of gods. They are the primordial energies and the manifestation of Brahman. Now the sources of 33 types of gods and goddesses. I cannot give you the detailed exact Sanskrit mantras, but I just quickly mention that in Rig Veda, there is a references there, mention 33 divinities. There are 33 devas, each for the 3 worlds, earth, air, and sky. In Yajurveda, exactly the 33 divinities has been mentioned. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the great says Yagyavalkya. You know that main says of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is the Gyavalkya. Replied to a question from the Shakalya Rishi that there are 33 devas. And in Satpata Brahman, another Upanishad, same 33 devas has been mentioned. What are the 33 devas? According to Brahmana, Brahmana is another composition of Vedas. You know the Vedas has 4 compositions: Sanghita, Brahmana, Aranyakas, and Upanishads. Anyway, I
5
do not
minutes
like
left.
How many?
5 minutes.
Okay, there are 12 Adittas, 11 Rudras, 8 Vasus, and 2 Ashwins. So because of time limitation, already signal has been given. I do not like to go to the names. Now I move to objective 3. Do we need to worship demigods? There is a very clear explanation in Bhagavad Gita that nothing wrong to worship various gods, but the benediction is temporary. Worship to the Supreme, the benediction is permanent. So I would like to mention only 2 shlokas from Bhagavad Gita. Men of small intelligence worship various gods, and their truth and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship demigods go to the planets of that god, but my devotees ultimately reach to my Supreme. So our goal is to only Supreme Brahman. Now I move to objective 4. Is there any Supreme Divinity, Bhagavan? Who is that? According to Vishnu Purana, that is explained by Parashar Muni, father of Rishi Vedavyas, saying that we should just I will not go to the main shloka, but I'm saying that there are 6 transcendental qualities. Those who possess, that is called Bhagavan. Absolute truth, absolute strength, absolute beauty, absolute fame, absolute knowledge, and absolute asceticism. All this incarnation, only Lord Krishna has these 6 qualities. Lord Rama has the 4. So no other incarnation, sages, gods, or human can have these 6 qualities together. So Lord Krishna is the Supreme Divinity. Brahma Samhita says, Ishara Param Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami, that Brahma said. In Bhagavatam said, Krishnastu Bhagavano Sayam. In Bhagavad Gita, there are at least many shlokas. It's saying, I am Brahma, I am the Vishnu, I am Mahakal Rudra, I am Paramatman. Everything rests on me. So there are also questions that who are the expansions then? Who is Vishnu then? Because we know that Vishnu may be the preserver, he may be the God, or Narayana may be the God. Actually, there are expansions. They are the natural expansion of Lord Krishna. You see the original expansion, Lord Krishna to Baladeva, Baladeva to Sankarshan, Sankarshan to Narayana, Narayana to the second Sankarshan, and the Kriyodakshay Vishnu. And that Kriyodakshay Vishnu remains in our heart, that is our Jivatma. Now the conclusion. Brahman is one. Sanatan Dharma is monotheistic. Demigods are the natural expansion. And also we believe on one God for all humankind, that is oneness of God. There are 33 categories of gods and goddesses, not 33 koti. And they are 12 Adittas, 11 Rudras, 8 Vasus, and 2 Ashwins. Other female demigods are the consorts of incarnations or associated with incarnations, as Lakshmi as the consort of Lord Vishnu. Worship to Lord is the goal of humans, so that we can avoid cycle of birth and death, that is transmigration, and there is an end if we do worship, if we meditate, and if we surrender fully to God. And that is our goal. And Lord Krishna is the Supreme Divinity, Bhagavan. So my limitations, Sanskrit's mantras are not cited, lack of knowledge in many places. Definitely, I did not cite everything. There are so many citations, and biases cannot be excluded from sectorial interpretation underpinning complex transcripts of Vedas and Upanishads, Brahma Samhita, and Bhagavad Gita, and also Bhagavatam. So thank you very much. And namaskar.